look out at this wasteland, looks like chaos. But there's always somebody behind the wheel.
And I think one of the things that he felt and I felt together immediately was this had to be a series, because to approach something of the scope of Fallout, you really can't get all that done in 2 or these days 3 hours. You needed the scope of a series.
But it was really the idea of entering in this world, and I loved the tone. We talk about sort of that juxtaposition of the serious and the kind of violent in some ways, very, very difficult, with goofy stuff. And I'm pretty goofy myself, and so I really identified with that. So I thought, well, this is going to be a fun place to play in.
You augment along the way, especially in bringing things from, a complete virtual experience in the video games to live action. Like I think we took some liberties with the Gulper. We made the Gulper a little bigger than you see him in New Vegas, for sure. Mm-hmm. But that's just one of those things where, as we're building it out, we just kept getting excited and adding, and it became sort of this birthday cake that was 10 feet tall.
Jonathan, Kyle, how are you both doing?
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
We are doing so well. Congratulations on this series. As lifelong Fallout fans, it's very surreal to be in a world like this and have a show like this. And Jonathan, just on a personal note, you've written some of our favorite films of all time.
Thank you.
And Kyle, you're one of our OG crushes from the Flintstones.
Oh,
so
thank you very much.
A lot of love for you both.
My favorite. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Now, Jonathan, Fallout has been rumored to have, a show or a movie for so long. What was it about this take that, made Todd Howard and the whole Bethesda team kind of just jump on board and give you that thumbs up?
I don't know. I started as a fan of the games, and a few years ago, an opportunity came up to sit down and have lunch with Todd. I'd been a huge fan of his games. I guess Todd had been a fan of my work, and we just hit it off immediately. It's one of those things where you sit down with someone and it feels like you've known them for years. Todd has been an unbelievable collaborator through this project, and we came out of that one lunch walking away with a handshake agreement and a certainty that we were going to make something. I know that he'd been approached over the years by all sorts of people, mainly for film adaptations. And I think one of the things that he felt and I felt together immediately was this had to be a series, because to approach something of the scope of Fallout, you really can't get all that done in 2 or these days 3 hours. You needed the scope of a series.
You definitely do, and it lends itself so well to a series. There's so many different factions to explore. Kyle, you've played so many iconic characters throughout your career. What was it about the world of Fallout that you really got excited to explore?
Well, I love science fiction so much, and I've done a few things. I started out with Dune, of course, playing in science fiction, but it's something that I read. I was a voracious reader when I was a kid, and I loved anything science fiction. In fact, that's where I came to Dune. It was the very first time. So, but it was really the idea of entering in this world, and I loved the tone. We talk about sort of that juxtaposition of the serious and the kind of violent in some ways, very, very difficult, with goofy stuff. And I'm pretty goofy myself, and so I really identified with that. So I thought, well, this is going to be a fun place to play in.
Yeah, and it's so fun. We've been loving this, and especially as we said, as fans of the series, it's been so incredible to just explore these characters, and talking to everyone today has been so incredible. But Jonathan, I would not be able to forgive ourselves if we didn't ask you. The Dark Knight is one of our favorite films of all time, and your brother Chris recently spoke about how you wrote the line, "You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain," which he didn't get at the first time, I guess, when you pitched it to him. Do you remember his reaction when you first pitched him that line?
Yeah, we were sitting. It was a line that came fairly late in the script. I had done my draft. Chris was taking a pass. And we were in England, I think, sitting around the dinner table trying to figure out, you needed something that kind of distilled and foreshadowed where things were going to go with Harvey Dent and Batman himself. And with those films, sometimes I would dip back into, I had the benefits, as the bad guy in Die Hard would say, the benefits of a classical education. And you think a lot about Caesar and the sort of Shakespearean tragic heroes, and that idea that something is kind of woven in. You engage when you engage to become a hero. I think that's one of the premises. People take it and say, well, everyone lives long enough to become a villain. No, if you play the game of being a hero, that's when you put yourself into this position. It also speaks to the fact that public perception, the idea that basically anyone who hangs out there long enough in the public perception eventually comes in for a drubbing. So there was a lot for me that was contained in that idea. And in that line.
We love that. Thank you both so much for your time. Like we said, we absolutely adore this series. It is fantastic. We cannot wait to see where it goes from here. And I really hope we get to talk to both of you guys again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Graham, how's it going?
Good. Where are you guys in Canada?
We're in Toronto.
Oh, near Sneaky D's? You're near Sneaky D's?
We're not far.
We're not too far off.
D's.
Not too far off
Scary
at all.
bathrooms, but great tacos.
Right? You gotta have that Pepe's pocket, right?
You got it. You got it. It's nice that you're familiar. How's the morning going for you?
10 years. No, good. You got limited time. Let's not talk about Sneaky D's. As much as I want to.
Okay, let's remove all those questions then about.
Yeah, we have to delete them now. It's all good.
I'm not interrupting you.
It's all good.
Graham, we're so delighted to be talking with you today. We love this series so much, and as lifelong fans of Fallout, it's very surreal to have a series look and sound and be as great as this is, and we get to live in a timeline where this is coming out. So how do you feel and having it come out into the world now?
It's a little crazier because I am working on it, so it's even crazier for me. It has been surreal from the jump because I've been playing these games since I was a kid, and from the call to like, hey, want to work on Fallout onward, I've just been kind of like, I felt like I've been doing a dumb guy laugh for 3 straight years. It's great. Especially coming from half-hour comedies, which are a lot of fun, but the scope and scale of what we're able to do on a show like this is completely different. It's been pretty cool.
Yeah, it's absolutely massive.
Yeah, and we love what you've done with the world so far. But so we're curious for yourself, what made you fall in love with the world of Fallout?
I was playing it in Edmonton, Alberta in 1997 with my roommates. It was like my first year of college. It's tied to one of the happiest periods, not happiest periods, top 5 happiest periods of like it was just a bunch of dumb rascals playing video games and gradually flunking out of school. And to be able to do that but earn a living at it, play around with net space. 20 years later, 5 years later, 25, let's be honest. It was pretty surreal, pretty cool. That's pretty much the long and short of it. Sorry, first interview of the morning. I'm a little.
No, it's all good. We're getting you warmed up for the day. We love it. We're so happy to be here. But for us, it's always interesting to see what changes, what gets adapted from the game to a show like this. So how much did you want to pull from the game when you were creating the series, and how much did you want to be like, let's take it in our own direction?
I think the story is evocative of other stories told in the Fallout universe, but it's a new story. Everything else is, we hope, it sits inside of the games. If you make a Star Wars, you don't come up with maybe you do your own Chewbacca's or whatever, your own Wookiee. you're like, okay, we got Wookiees. What else we got? You're using the same play space, this sort of toolkit of fun, amazing stuff. And you augment along the way, especially in bringing things from a complete virtual experience in the video games to live action. Like, I think we took some liberties with the Gulper. We made the Gulper a little bigger than you see him in New Vegas, for sure. Mm-hmm. But that's just one of those things where as we're building it out, we just kept getting excited and adding, and it became sort of this birthday cake that was 10 feet tall by the time we're done with it.
But it's all Fallout, and that's what's so exciting.
It's not the most sacred thing of them all, so we wanted to kind of experiment, tinker around with that one.
Yeah, but it all feels like Fallout, and even like the slow motions with the weapon shooting and everything like that. Like it all just feels like the DNA is there, which is incredible.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's a bunch of people who like the games. So like. Right down to PAs on the show. It's not it's not such a deep cut that no one's heard of it. some of our PAs we didn't hire them because they knew about Fallout. They just knew about Fallout, like, so it's that kind of, the game is actually that big of a deal that you can just throw a rock and hit a Fallout fan.
Definitely.
We love that. We love that you got to work with so many people that are so passionate about this series as well. Graham, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for talking to us about Sneaky D's and obviously Fallout as well. We're so grateful for you, and we hope to get talk to you soon.
Check out Laugh Sabbath at Comedy Bar. It's a great show.
Love it.